So, most of you don't know me. I'm going to try this. I'm not any good at this. This is not what I do. Some of you do know who I am. And I just kind of wanted to take the opportunity to say a few things. Because I really never have. Start off by saying I am who I am. What you see is what you get. And that's not really ever going to change. I keep a lot close to the vest, so to speak, and I don't speak out, and I haven't spoken out throughout this course of time for multiple reasons, really, but mainly because it's something that I feel isn't really important to do most of the time. Those of you who know me know that I have been involved in the Suzanne Morphew case since pretty much the very beginning. I started that in May when she went missing, when she was first reported missing. I have a genetic genealogy background, and when I was working on those cases, I would just kind of drop them off to the side for a minute and kind of see what I could dig up and research on some true crime cases, because when I was working on those cases, I would listen to a lot of true crime, things like that, just to kind of feel the airspace, kill the silence. So I was looking into it, trying to kind of see how I felt about it and what I thought about it and what I could find out about it, which, as we know, really wasn't much. Then in June, Tylee and JJ's bodies were found in Chad Daybell's backyard. And it took me back to Donna Serafina's reading, which I had heard, because it was like one of those things. I just up stupid early in the morning and like pop their names into YouTube to see if there was things that I was missing that I couldn't come up with. And I came across Donna's reading, and that was in January. And it was horrific. Not gonna lie. That's one of those things that just absolutely never leave your mind. So when JJ and Tylee were found, and I thought back to the similarities of that, I went back to Donna's reading, her first one, and I listened to it again. And it honestly pissed me off. Because I remembered seeing all the horrible things that were said to Donna and the way that people treated her. But nobody came out and apologized to her for saying any of that stuff, right? So, as a little bit of time went by, a little bit more information came out, and then we see the FBI testimony, and like it matches what Donna said, like word for word, and still no apologies. People are super quick to come out with the negative and the terrible things that they say and do. But when it comes time for issuing an apology or saying that you were incorrect or you were wrong or you shouldn't have behaved in that manner, people don't do those things. So I was really frustrated, and I was putting some research into some of the other little factoids that were in her reading, like the girl who died. She was playing in the backyard where JJ and Tylee were, right? And so, those who don't know, there was actually a little girl who was the grandchild of the previous owners of Chad Daybell's house, who had died getting off of the school bus and was hit by a potato truck. And then the guy who owned it, he was some, I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but he was some sort of a teacher. And like, I remember Donna saying he would like wear this apron, and he built this like little rolly thing in the shed and all of this, and he was very mechanically inclined and capable, right? And that actually fits up to the old owner of Chad Daybell's house. Now, I've never seen a picture of him, so I can't say that he was wearing like the leather apron or anything like that, but I can tell you that if anybody was able to build that stuff, and if that stuff is actually there, who knows? We haven't seen the inside of the shed yet, but this guy would have definitely fit that bill. So I was actually preparing to kind of start making my own videos and calling out these little facts and calling out the horrific nature in which people behave on the internet, and treat people without any justification. And then I saw Miss Sweetie Pie Low. And, well, number one, she's an absolute knockout. Number two, she is way better at this online thing than I am in these videos. And she was making these videos. So, instead of making my own videos, I just started communicating with her and saying, you know, it was really crappy the way people are treated. It's downright disheartening and heartbreaking, like what people have said and done to Donna, with no apologies whatsoever. And so we started building a friendship. And of course, you know, we talk about the Suzanne Morphew case, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely looking into it, trying to see what I can do, see what I can find out, you know, that sort of stuff. So from there forward, it honestly like really progressed. So a lot of you know that Sweetie Pie Low is the one who was able to contact Andy, Suzanne's brother, and get him to agree to do a reading with Donna. And I was able to get some of the clues and stuff that Donna had put out with that. You know, we didn't want to like break Donna's trust or anything of that nature, but Lauren was willing to tell me certain things because she thought maybe I could find some things that corresponded with that. So we worked on that, and then we stayed in constant communication. I haven't even tried to go back through, but literally the countless hours of 1 minute voice clips we have on Facebook Messenger are just gotta be next level insane. So when I'm going to try and do this without really naming names, but there's just certain names that it is what it is. So when Lauren Scharf had done the article on Morgan in the beach site at the 105 Vanderveer job, someone else did a live video that night, and instead of discussing what Morgan was talking about with the job and the beach area and Barry's creepy behavior surrounding all of that, and the fact that Barry had done that job that weekend, and all of that, they were discussing on whether or not Morgan and Barry had a sexual relationship. And so that really pissed me off, to be honest with you, because whether or not Barry was sleeping with Morgan, which I don't believe for 1 second, and even if I did, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't believe it had anything to do with Suzanne disappearing. I don't believe it would have had anything to do with anything that happened. What should have been focused on was the beach site and the job and Barry's actions. But it wasn't even discussed. And it just torqued me. And I had been talking to Lauren previously and trying to get footage of that beach area, because I had felt like the river there was super important, especially when you listen to Donna's reading. It goes back, it goes back. So I couldn't understand why Lauren wasn't willing to just give me like a picture or drone footage of the area. And then she came out with that report, and I was like, oh, that's why. So after that, I really wanted to know more about that area. When I finally found footage of the other side of you get to there from County Road 102, and that actually takes you right up to the back of the Vanderveer property. Once I saw that, it seemed to be pretty much identical to Donna's description of like the little waterfall, but not really necessarily a waterfall, just like water going over the rocks. We knew that Barry had been there. We knew that Barry had worked on it. We knew that the FBI thought enough of this property to spend 3 days there and a whole bunch of money digging up their concrete and all of that. But we also knew that they didn't actually go into the water, right? They didn't move that wall. They didn't mess around with any of that stuff. And I still, to this day, feel like it should happen. It should be done. There's really no excuse in my mind why it hasn't been done. If you're going to spend that kind of money digging up concrete, you can spend a little bit of money moving some rocks. Of course, I'm not law enforcement. I'm not the sheriff's office. I'm not the DA. I'm not the FBI. I'm not the CBI. So maybe they have their reasons. So I contacted Andy and talked to him. And some of you have heard about this or whatever. I contacted Andy. He talked me into going out to Salida. And that was a very defining moment in my life, for sure. So a lot of things have brought me to where I am today, and what I do and what I stand for and what I believe in. But going to Salida was definitely a game changer for me. I wasn't able to stay there the whole time. I ended up getting really, really sick and thought I was going to die. But that's not exactly like what was the game changer. The game changer was doing something I had never done before. Because at this time, I like pretty much barely left my house. I was always home. I was always doing my own thing and just kind of sitting in solitude, helping people find their biological families. And like, honestly, like that was good enough for me. I was happy doing that. And then I met Andy, and I went to Salida, and I met a few of his friends and people who would come to help search for Suzanne. And it changed the course of my life forever. And I can't fully put that into words, but when I got back home, I ended up spending some time in the emergency room, spending a whole lot of money on a cardiologist. Got involved in a crowdsourced investigation of which I was the project manager. Met a lot of people through the course of that. I've talked to or looked into just about everyone who's been even a small part of this case over the course of almost 2 years now. It's crazy to say. It's been almost 2 years. And what I've found is you never really know, right? And so I was just having this discussion the other day, maybe like a week ago, with someone else. And we've had this discussion multiple times that you really never know who you're dealing with or what their intentions are, or anything more than really what they tell you, because you don't meet these people in person, right? You don't spend time with them. You only know what they allow you to see, or hear, or be a part of. And that gets pretty scary. I do most of what I do alone. And I trust really only like 2 people. So, it's hard to be a part of this true crime community and to be public and to speak out and to say things, and do things. What I want to tell you is there's a lot of people out here that are scary, like downright scary. They don't have good intentions. They're not doing this for the right reasons. They're not kind, good-hearted, trustworthy people. I think a lot of that's been proven. For me, it's honestly pretty easy to see. Now, a lot of that has to do with the personal interactions that I've had with certain people and the personal conversations that I've had with certain people, and the fact that what they say online and what they do in the background and say don't match up, right? So does it make it a little bit easier for me to navigate through? Yes. Has it been easy to navigate through? Absolutely not. It's been downright gut-wrenching and heartbreaking most of the time. But I really am a firm believer that the universe has a plan and has a way of sorting things out. And it's not my job to make that happen. But I want you all to be aware that these people that you see online, the things that they say, 9 times out of 10 don't come from a good place. They just sound like the right words to use. And be careful, because it's scary and it's messed up, and it's messed up what these people do to people, to humans, to situations, to these cases. I started Seeds of Hope almost a year ago. As not only a way to honor Suzanne, but a way to honor people like my brother who committed suicide. I started Seeds of Hope on his birthday. My nephew, who was murdered in a school shooting. My best friend who died at a time when we weren't speaking and over politics. A man who always, always, always was there for me, 100%, no questions asked. A man named Tony Dickey, who showed me that at the worst times in people's lives, and I'm really sorry for being emotional, but you can be a ray of hope. You can provide just one little teeny tiny thing that will forever impact someone or a family. Just real quick, Tony Dickey, awesome. So he goes out to these school shootings and mass casualties and tragedies, and he just asks the families, the victims, what he can do to help them. And for us, it was clearing the media from the school so we could go to the school and just kind of mourn, right? Without a camera in our face. And he's stayed in contact with our family since 2018. And will forever be a large and important piece of my heart. So I started Seeds of Hope, not only to help find missing people, but to do what I can each day in little ways. It's never the same. It's never the same person. It's not always at a church or a community function. Sometimes it's literally just giving someone a quarter or paying the remainder of someone's groceries because they don't have enough on their card or whatever. You know what I mean? There's little things that you can do each and every day just to help show love and kindness and humanity. And we don't need to be divided. There's enough division in this world that we don't need any more of it. We don't need any more hatred. We don't need any more unkind words. And when you do something messed up, you own it, right? I've made a ton of mistakes. I'm human. I'm gonna continue to make a ton of mistakes. But I take each one as a lesson, and I try and grow with it and from it. And we all need more of that in this world. And we all need more understanding and compassion and love and kindness and humanity in this true crime community. Doing the things that I've seen people do and say to families and victims and just general people all over the place is heartbreaking and disgusting beyond any level of which I've ever seen or experienced in my entire life. And that's saying a lot because I have not always lived the funnest life. But there is a lot of it out there to be had and to be experienced and to give. I don't really know what else to say. So I think I'm going to end it here. And I'm going to end it with one of the most defining things, too. My nephew used to sign off of all of his YouTube videos with peace. It's super effective. And I had a reading done by Above and Beyond Ancestor for Andy before I went to Salida and met with him. And love that gal, by the way. She's awesome. I'm actually not even sure that Andy's ever watched it, but one of the cards that came out said, "Life is a series of choices. Choose love." And I will always choose love. And that's the reason I don't speak out against the things that have been said and done to me and other people. It's the reason I'm so protective over the people that I do love, and even the people who I don't really care for. Because in the end, none of that really matters. It's not what's going to get us through. It's not what's going to help these cases. It's not what's going to solve anything. We need to be kind. We need to be loving. We need to be generous. And we need to remember that every single one of us is human. Not any one of us is the same. We all make different choices. We all live different lives. We all have different backgrounds. But we're all human. And we all deserve respect and kindness and love and grace and understanding. And if you can't provide those things, if you can't be that, then you shouldn't be out here trying to do these things, because you're messing up these cases. You're hurting people. You're destroying lives. Also, you can sit behind your keyboard and talk shit. It's ridiculous. Anyway, that's what I got. welcome to me. Have a good day, y'all.